Issues of women's rights, gender equality, and sundry concerns are some of the issues put forward for discussion during the 25th November commemoration of International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, which marks the beginning of 16 days of activism. Hello, glad to have you join us on yet another episode of Issues, reaching you from NT Channel 5 Abuja, the Unity Station. I am Abdullah Hajia, your uncle. Do join us again. We'll be right back. Glad to have you join us again. Now, global attention is being focused on addressing a number of issues affecting women. This is one concern that has dominated discourse over time. And today on Issues, we will be having a special guest that will be talking to us on the progress made so far and some of the gray areas that also need attention at the moment. Do join us again. Thank you for staying with us. Now, I have Dr. Adetoun Adiola Dali. She's the Global President, Women Community in Africa, who is live with us in the studio to talk about the commemoration of the elimination of violence against women and the beginning of 16 days of activism to end gender-based violence. Welcome to Issues.
Thank you very much.
Well, we talk about women. This is one opportunity again to celebrate women and to also put forward some of the issues women will always want to talk about. And you're here with us. Now, let's begin by understanding the commemoration. Year in, year out, we talk about this commemoration. Where are we today?
Gender-based violence is a global menace, and it is something that we should not even wait for a certain time. It should be an ongoing conversation to end gender-based violence. We've come so far, but there's still a lot we could do. We still need to go do more because the statistics are still very, very saddening considering where we want to get to.
Okay, well, I know usually we talk about orange color. Let's also educate our viewer. The orange color, why the choice of the orange color to mark the 16 days of activism?
It's a color that's been unanimously agreed on. Like I said earlier, it's a global thing. So painting the world orange at this time, like I have my neck scarf here, is significant to draw attention to the need to end violence against women. Because violence, in its totality, limits the humanity that is in the community. So it's something we need to reintegrate into our communities for a better society for all.
I know your organization is spreading very fast and you're working with communities, you're working with other organizations. Let's speak to the statistics. Are we actually getting, this issue go down to the people who are concerned? Are we actually making progress, if I may ask?
Women Community in Africa is a coalition of organizations that are working to curb and end gender-based violence. We have representation in some parts of Nigeria and a few African countries, and we are still spreading. And gladly, I want to say that we have people working in rural communities, working in the urban centers, ensuring that, first of all, women are aware of their rights. Women are aware of the need to speak out. Like you said, how far have we gone? The challenge there is the fact that many still want to hide. Many want to keep this hidden. They want issues swept under the carpet when it comes to gender-based violence. So that is the biggest challenge. Women are not speaking out. Even when they know they should speak out. And unfortunately, they hide it so much that many lose their lives in this violent environment.
Okay, let's begin to unravel the masquerades now. When we talk about gender-based violence, I think it means a whole lot. Can we break it down so that people understand what we're talking about?
Gender-based violence, like you said, it's like a capital for any form of violation against a person. be it a man even, we must recognize that. But much more, the statistics shows that more women are violated, are suffering this violent environment. Say almost one in every three women. That is very sad. So it could be physical, it could be verbal, it could be mental, it could be emotional, even psychological. So this is any violation to make a person smaller or lower than who the person is, make a person inferior, name a person, and in any way affect the mental well-being of the person, emotional stability of the person, which could, like I said, lead to the depression, make the person suicidal, or even cause for death.
Okay, well, it's a global celebration. Do we actually have, say, laws or guidelines or rules that say, okay, by the time we get people who probably are guilty of perpetrating violence against women, say, okay, they could be punished? Do we have such laws around?
There are laws everywhere, and Nigeria is not an exception of places that have laws. No, having the laws is one, then implementation of the laws is a different ball game. And for Nigeria, we have so many laws that is supposed to be a shield for those suffering abuse. But when you look at the rigors of the implementation, that's when many women still draw back on that. They don't have, they don't want to spare the time it takes. They don't want to, sometimes it's going to cost them financially. Then the emotional drain the process brings on the victim. They just want to walk away. For those that want to walk away, others see no reason to walk away. They just manage to cope. They develop all forms of coping mechanisms, and they just survive there in that violent environment. So there are laws, but the implementation of those laws are questionable, and things need to be done to revamp and ensure speedy implementation of those laws.
Organizations such as yours, I know you're gathering momentum, you're advocating and sensitizing as well. Now, for the cases that have been reported probably to you or to some other organization that you're partnering with, what have you done, if I may ask?
We've done quite a number of things. We've stepped in for women that want to speak out and want to leave the environment. We've helped to resettle some of them outside of the environment. We've gone to law enforcement agencies. I remember us reporting a case to the National Humanitarian Humanitarian Commission, a case of a girl that was violated. Human Rights Commission, thank you. A case of a girl that was violated. So then we've helped in removing victims from environments where they've been violated and resettling them. We've also provided legal representation for some of those cases that we have handled in time past.
Okay, let us also look at the issue of partnership now. How much of this partnership do you have and we also need moving forward?
A lot, like I said, a lot needs to be done. We have some partnerships that are strived. Like I said, that we've given legal representation. We've gotten intervention from FIDA. In fact, most of the time, they're our first point of call to help the victim understand the situation and the way out, and to also assist us in representing these ones when the case gets to that level. So we've had collaborations with FIDA. We have a relationship too with the Ministry of Women Affairs that we can strive on when cases like this. And in more recent times, we've been developing a relationship with the House of Assembly, National House of Assembly, so that we can also, because our organization is also interested in policy and legislative change.
Okay, well, let's come back home now and narrow it to our own situation. Now, don't you think a situation where we have maybe local laws that could help us beyond just the general law of what criminal issue, the constitutional penal code or criminal, whatever has said? Don't you think there is a need to sponsor probably a bill at the National Assembly so that such things could be well spelled out when you do this against a woman, you get this as penalty? Don't you think it's high time we did that?
I think so, but I was thinking that our VAP was supposed to address that. Yeah. That things are spelled out clearly enough. Yeah. And like I said, the challenge is not the law themselves, it's in the implementation of those laws. And then when you look at it, women that are violated, that suffer violence, usually do from intimate partners, not strangers in usual cases.
Okay.
And from one of the cases we handled, we found out that the community was somehow shielding the perpetrator. So it is sad. So that boils down to the implementation of those laws. This community came together to try and shield the man that committed the violation against a minor, and they even tried to use money in a cunning way. They bribed the guardian of the girl. So when we were still on the case, we were told the guardian left, just disappeared and left the vicinity, and we couldn't reach him. So those are some of the things that prevent prosecution of violators, not the laws themselves, but the implementation. And then the issue of corruption, using money to just wipe the crime away.
Well, don't you also feel advocacy this time around a very serious one now, just beyond the city advocacy now, going back to the hinterland, to rural communities, to talk to people? I believe persuasive communication should be involved. For somebody not to even imagine doing such acts, we need to talk to ourselves.
Yes.
So how much have we been talking to the people at the local level now this time around, and how much we also need to talk to them more?
From our name, Women Community in Africa, we work with communities.
Okay.
So we have communities that we have adopted over time. We have communities, and I said it's a coalition. So we have our organizations working in different communities. And as a body in Abuja, we're already planning a community outreach before these days of activism are over. What I would like is that this conversation should not be kept in the cooler until when we're having the 16 days of activism. It should be a continuous thing, because every day you open your newspapers, you see a violation of sorts. A husband did this, a man did this to a child, and things like that. It's all over. So the conversation of ending gender-based violence should be ongoing, right from January till the end of the year. The advocacy, the sensitization should be an ongoing one. That's until we do that, we cannot get the target of a free and fair environment, free of violence.
You also talk about probably some of these cases not being reported. Don't you think some of these victims might be, scared of stigmatization? So how much, can you also assure to protect some of these victims in case of such violations?
It is sad that our environment is what it is today, where perpetrators of this crime are shielded by the community, and then the victims are stigmatized. The victims are supposed to be the ones to enjoy the love, the care from the protection from the community, but it's not like that. And that is where advocacy and sensitization comes in. Those that are even stigmatizing, many of them are not even with the full understanding of the import of what they are doing. So when we carry out these sensitization exercises, we help to tell them that the victim needs all of our support, so psychosocial support from all of us, rather than stigmatizing or ostracizing them, which is the main factor why they want to keep it a secret. So we have been talking to some people, like I said, in various communities, and we have to keep talking so that we can get to where we want to get to.
But you were so passionate about talking on this issue. What about the men? When will a day come so we'll say, okay, let's also end violence against the men?
It's together. We said gender.
Okay.
So, but like I said earlier, I said the statistics that we have shows that more women suffer violence. I know for men, many men too don't talk about it because the society makes them feel less of a man when they have issues like that needs to be dealt with. So we want to encourage men to speak out. You might not generally tell everybody, but there should be somebody you can talk to that can help bring solution to whatever anybody is going through. A man does not need to suffer violence and live in a violent environment. Neither does a woman or any child, as the case is. So we all need to speak out.
Before we go on a break, I want to ask you this question. Now, in your way of intervening, we live in a society where anything can happen. How do you establish, cases of violence, apart from the physical assault where you see bruises, maybe say psychological, somebody reported? how do you ascertain the veracity of such cases that somebody could be lying? It's possible.
Yes. And that is where the law enforcement comes in. When a report is made to the police, it is the police responsibility to do due diligence. We in the CSOs, in the NGOs, we can talk to family members, we can talk to neighbors. I remember a case, I had to talk to some family members who said they had gotten reports from their sister or their sister-in-law of abuse that had been going on for years from the husband. So we can talk to family members. Neighbors should know something. Neighbors should have heard something. Neighbors should have seen something. So we talk to the neighbors. Then if the person has co-workers, friends, those are the people that can shed light on the whether the abuse is truly taking place or not.
Thank you, Dr. Adetoun, for your insight. But that's not all. We'll go on a short break and when we return, we'll continue the discussion. You're still watching Issues reaching you from the Unity Station, NT Channel 5, Abuja. And my guest is still here with more answers to some of the questions that we're yet to ask. But this is after this time out. Do stay. Thank you for staying with us. All right, my guest is still here, and let's continue the conversation. Now, let's look at the issue of the 16 days of activism. What should we be expecting this time around? Are there programs lined up different from what we've witnessed, those going to the street, share flyers? What are some of the programs that have been lined up this time around?
Quite a number. Even the sharing of flyers cannot be disdained, because somehow every program gets to save. If a program gets to save one person, I think it's worth it. There are all kinds of the organizations having different kinds of works around the city, around towns, communities, to create awareness. I think there are town hall meetings, there are community meetings, and even sensitization of children in the school environment are going on. So, and of course, what we're doing now is a form of mass media sensitization of the community. So, various sensitization is going on radio, on TV, on the streets. And I'm sure that each of those programs would at least save one person. That would go a long way in helping us get to.
But the emphasis has been on women. Children, child also involved.
Definitely. It's women and children.
Okay.
Definitely. And when you say children also, the boys suffer violence, but the girls suffer more than the boys. And so the campaign is to end violence against women and girls, and even end violence in our society as a whole.
Beyond the schools, we also have religious centers. How are we taking it to them too?
Yes.
Pastors, imam, in their sermons, I think they could also help out.
We need them. We need everybody to be on board to end this violence against women and girls. It is not something that a certain group of people can do. The government has done some things, but they need to do more. They need to create shelters. They need to create rescue centers where women that are in abusive environments can be sheltered before they get their feet back on ground. We need religious places to hammer on it and keep the burner on the fact that violence shouldn't be tolerated in any community. We need the media. We need just about anybody. It is no longer fair for you to say you are minding your business when your neighbor is either violent to his wife or violent to the husband. It is everybody's concern. Ending violence is everybody's duty, and we should rise up to it.
All right. Well, we've been talking. Somebody out there might, have an issue, and how can they reach, out to you if in case of such situations?
Like I said, our organization is Women Community in Africa. We have our social media handles. You can reach out to us there. You can send an email, womencommunityinafrica@gmail.com. You can reach us. You can reach us on our on phone through WhatsApp 08176882686. You can reach us via social media or on any of the platforms, and we'll be willing to stand with you anywhere in the world.
All right, let's also talk more about partnership, which I think can go a long way in also, solving this problem. In Nigeria, what is a partnership like? How many organizations have, agreed to be part of the global women community in Africa?
Yes, we still need more partnerships because doing this, taking it to the grass level, requires a lot of dedication, time, and funds. In recent times, we have not had enough that would make the work more impactful. And like I said, we have our spread across Nigeria. We do deal with the grassroots. We deal with the children, getting it right at an early age, because I believe that most of what we have on our hands now, this violent environment that we have on our hands, is a result of failed parenting. So if the children can get it right, then it shows that in a few years we'll have a better society. So our school advocacy needs a lot of partnership that we have now. We need a lot of support to get to the grassroots, to get to the schools, to get to the young ones. Last year we did what we called re-engineering boys back to value. We focused on the boy child, seeing the need that bringing up the boy child right with values of discipline, respect, accountability, responsibility would reduce the menace of violence. And we did a lot with the boys. We went to the schools, we taught them skills, we opened them up to respect values and ensure that they cultivate values at an early age. Doing that requires a lot of dedication, a lot of commitment, a lot of funding, and would be ready to work with anyone that is so passionate about bringing an end to violence through these means that the pathways that we go in women communities in Africa.
Okay, well, one would be interested to know, well, out of all this you're doing for society, for communities, and for humanity, it seems as if there was no challenge.
Oh, you can't say that. There's a lot of challenges that we face. Some communities are not even open enough to want you to come in because it's a form of liberation. Knowledge liberates. In some communities, we are sponsoring girls to learn skills, to be educated. Some communities don't like that. They like the I don't want to is it the darkness, the lack of knowledge that helps the girl child to be overshadowed, to be abused, because some suffer abuse and they are not even aware. So when you're bringing knowledge, you're bringing light.
Sure.
When you want to educate a girl child, you are delivering the child, you are liberating the child. So some communities don't want that. So it's not all of the communities that we are put that are open or welcoming to the idea of we bringing skills, bringing education to their children. So we have that. And then getting men to commit to this work is really very, very a tough challenge. Usually we have women, we have girls wanting to commit to walk this path. But we feel that the boys, they need role models as men. They need male role models. So they don't see it as a girl thing, they don't see it as a women thing. When they see the men volunteer to walk this pathway of mentoring the boys, then it's easier for the boys to open up and embrace what we have for them. So we need more men to come on board. We need more men to be committed to serve as mentors for boys. So, and I mentioned that some communities are not welcoming, a lack of men role models, and then funding is also very limited. Many times we go above and beyond, use personal funds that are not even there, and stretch ourselves. Things we could do more if the environment was comfortable, if logistics was easier on us and all that. We're doing it and we're driven with passion. So we're not limiting ourselves. We believe that if we can save a child, if you hear my conversation, I said, if a program can save a child, a person, then it's well worth it. So we go all out with that focus. Even though we can't do big things, we do small things in big ways. We do town hall meetings where we have to provide logistics for those that we attend. So it's a bit strenuous on us, but we are keeping at it.
Thank you very much, Dr. Adeto Adiola Tali, Global President Women Community in Africa, for coming on issues to share your thoughts with us while educating our viewer out there on some of these important or salient issues that we all need to know so that we forestall this menace in our communities, in our country, Nigeria. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
And as you go celebrate 16 days of activism, we wish you well and hoping that your goals will be achieved at the end of the day.
Thank you. I hope so too.
All right, she has spoken so passionately about some of these issues and concerns that are going on in our communities, and the work starts with you and I. Until we come your way, same time, same station, with another topic on issues, I remain Abdullah Haitia. Bye for now.
Prospective candidates seeking admission into NTA Television College Jos are hereby invited for the upcoming Diploma Aptitude Test for National Diplomas in Film and Television Production, Broadcast Journalism and Television Engineering Technology, and Post-UTME Degree Examination and Direct Entry Screening for Bachelor of Science Degree in Mass Communication, scheduled for Saturday 30th November 2024 at the college's premises along Old Government House Close, Rayfield, Jos, Plateau State by 8 a.m. All candidates are to pay the sum of 2,000 Naira only through remitter platform in favor of NTA Television College, NTA Television College Jos, for knowledge and skills.
In a world that thrives on instant messaging and digital communication, the timeless tradition of letter